2020 is already half over, and with that, some pretty great games have already come out. Sure, some big budget blockbusters like Cyberpunk and Halo Infinite won't be here till the end of the year, but anyhow, here are my top 10 best games of 2020 so far. As a disclaimer, this video is heavily opinionated, and while I have read reviews on all of these games, I still took into account my own personal enjoyment of these games to make most of these rankings. Also, I haven't played 2 of these games, but that being said, I can't ignore how great the games they are and how much they deserve to be on this list. Number 10. Bright Memory. If you know me personally, then I can't sing this game's praises enough. It's like if Dark Souls was a first-person shooter, but actually done well. Sure, my computer screams in agony when I play it, but the game looks gorgeous. Aside from some of the anime grunts and horribly dubbed voice lines, this game is still great. 7 out of 10 grains of salt. Number 9. Valorant. When I first saw this game taking off, I hated it due to my disliking of the developer's past games. But when I finally played it, my socks were blown off by the tactical CS style of combat and the mix between Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege's game mechanics. If you have a PC, you should check this one out since it can run on just about anything. 7.5 out of 10 grains of salt. Number 8. Minecraft Dungeons. In a year full of AAA games with massive open worlds and super detailed graphics, there's something reassuring about a game development company that nearly everyone knows can still release a slightly smaller game that is actually good. Minecraft Dungeons is good, and a must play if you like that satisfying, simple Diablo-style combat. I beat the game the day after it was released with some friends and then played it on the second difficulty mode by myself a few days later. There's something oddly addicting about this game, and it's worth the $20 price tag. 7.8 out of 10 grains of salt. Number 7. Call of Duty Warzone. As great of a game as it is, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. The game is certainly the definitive Battle Royale experience and deserves a spot on this list. It took the best Call of Duty since Black Ops 3 and made it into a Battle Royale. That's actually fun. The map is great. It has one of the largest weapon varieties of any Battle Royale ever, and some of the great mechanics and modes. This game is a must-play if you still have a hankering from Battle Royales. 7.8 out of 10 grains of salt. Number 6. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yes, I know the game has its flaws, like missing the second half of the game and some changes to the story, but it does what all remakes should do, build upon the original. Now let me say, I hate JRPGs and dislike pretty much every Final Fantasy except Final Fantasy VII. The remake takes a good story, pairs it with some great action RPG and JRPG combat, and throws in some pretty graphics. The game doesn't have a true end, but does leave room for the studio to continue the story rather than throw in a half-baked ending of the original game. In my eyes, this is what the original team wanted the game, but couldn't do, mainly to hardware limitations of the time. 8 out of 10 grains of salt. Number 5. Ori and the Will-o'-the-Wisps. If this game was a movie, or even just a picture, it would still be here on the list just because of the graphics. The environments tell stories, the enemy and character design tells their own story, and the game itself tells the story. It's sweet and sad, and on top of all of this story, you get an entire game. The movement is so fluid and the combat is extraordinary. The game is light while being dark. It's about getting back up just to help those who you love. Overall, it's a must-play. 8.5 out of 10 grains of salt. Number 4. Let me tell you a story. A story of a games company who didn't know how to make bad games, but then vanished. Let me tell you of a game series so good that when the story stopped, the fans continued the story, or at least tried to, themselves. The year is 2000. You finish playing the game and say, wow, I wonder how it will end. 13 years later, bam, the story does not end, but it fills in the gaps between the first and second game. Half-Life Alyx is an utter masterpiece. I've been stalling because I don't have much else to say about the game. Play it. If you know someone with a VR headset, get them to let you play it. It's truly a landmark in gaming history and deserves its spot. 9 out of 10 grains of salt. Number 3, Animal Crossing New Horizon. Now I know what you're thinking, no, this game is supposed to be number 1, you idiot. But hear me out. This game just about saved us all when it came out. It gave people a sense of responsibility when most people lost their sense of responsibility. I won't say it's a must play because either you've played it or it's not your type of game. Sure, I may have gotten bored of it, but I'm still eventually going to go back to the game and play it a couple more times. And if you need any more evidence as to why it's a good game, even if it still gets boring for some, my friend Ewan has over 205 hours played, and his island is 1 star. 9 out of 10 grains of salt. Number 2, Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil is my favorite zombie game franchise, and it doesn't even technically have zombies in it. That's how good it is. Resident Evil is not only the best looking game so far this year, it has the best story. It may have some cut content, but this game is still amazing. I beat it 2 days before it released, thanks GameStop, and I beat it again the day after, and again the day after that day. This game is, by all definitions of the word, a masterpiece. 10 out of 10 grains of salt. But of course, there's only one game that can beat a masterpiece, and that of course is number 1. Doom Eternal has you rip and tearing like you did in Doom 2016, but then gives you the agility of a professional gymnast. Then it looks you in the eyes, tapes a grenade-launching flamethrower to your shoulder, gives you a wrist-mounted blade that will make the one from Assassin's Creed piss itself. Just then, you think it's over. It can't get any better. It can't get any cooler. It hands you a double-barrel shotgun with a grappling hook called the Meat Hook, and a sword so cool that even a lightsaber would run in fear. Oh, and did I mention the soundtrack injects pure testosterone into your bloodstream? It gets to the point where Satan himself fears you. Oh, and did I mention the BFG? I'll let you guess what that means. And no, it's not Big Friendly Giant. This game could just be a soundtrack, and it would still be better than The Last of Us Part 2. Play this game. I'm not recommending you to, I'm telling you to. Then come back to me and say Animal Crossing is better. 100 billion out of 10. You know what? This game is a certified hood classic.
Hogger!